भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 1, Genealogical Table of the Daughters of Manu. Text 42. Cittis tu atharvaṇaḥ patnī lebhe putraṁ dhṛta-vratam dadhyañcam aśvaśirasaṁ bhṛgor vaṁśaṁ nibodha me cittistu atharvaṇaḥ patnī lebhe putraṁ dhṛta-vratam dadhyañcam aśvaśirasaṁ bhṛgor vaṁśaṁ nibodha me cittis atharvaṇaḥ patnī cittis atharvaṇaḥ patnī lebhe putraṁ dhṛta-vratam dadhyañcam aśvaśirasaṁ bhṛgor vaṁśaṁ nibodha me cittis atharvaṇaḥ patnī lebhe putraṁ dhṛta-vratam dadhyañcam aśvaśirasaṁ bhṛgor vaṁśaṁ nibodha me.
Atharvaṇaḥ patnī lebhe putraṁ dhṛta-vratam dadhyañcam aśvaśirasaṁ bhṛgor vaṁśaṁ nibodha me cittistu atharvaṇaḥ patnī lebhe putraṁ dhṛta-vratam dadhyañcam aśvaśirasaṁ cittistu atharvaṇaḥ patnī lebhe putraṁ dhṛta-vratam dadhyañcam aśvaśirasaṁ bhṛgor vaṁśaṁ nibodha me.
Mataji's. Citti tu also atharvaṇaḥ of Atharvā, patnī wife, lebhe got, putram son, dhṛta-vratam completely dedicated to a vow, dadhyañcam, dadhyañca, aśvaśirasaṁ, aśvaśirā, Bhṛgu vaṁśaṁ, generations of Bhṛgu, nibodha, try to understand, may, from me. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Citti, wife of the sage Atharvā, gave birth to a son named Aśvaśirā by accepting a great vow called Dadhyañca. Now you may hear from me about the descendants of the sage Bhṛgu. Please repeat after me. Citti, the wife of the sage Atharvā, gave birth to a son named Aśvaśirā by accepting a great vow called Dadhyañca. Now you may hear from me about the descendants of the sage Bhṛgu. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The wife of Atharvā, known as Citti, is also known as Shanti. She was the 8th daughter of Kardama. So, this chapter is describing the genealogical table of the daughters of Manu. Manu had 3 daughters, Akuti, Devahuti and Prasuti. So here the description ends of the 9 daughters of Devahuti. Like here it has been described that she was the 8th daughter. Citti was the 8th daughter, but in the previous verse there was the description of the name of the 9th daughter, who was the wife of Vasishtha, Ujjain. And Ujjain is also known as Arundhati. Arundhati, the wife of Vasishtha, is very famous. Sage Vasishtha is a very illustrious personality. How do we remember Sage Vasishtha, Vasishtha Muni? One way we remember is that he is the Kula Guru of the Bhṛgu dynasty, Ramchandra's dynasty. He was Ramchandra's Kula Guru. And there are so many wonderful incidents about Vasishtha. Vishwamitra came. Ramchandra at that time was only a little boy, just reached 16. And he was very, very dear to King Dasharatha. Dasharatha couldn't stay without seeing him even for a moment. He always kept him with him. He was so fond of him. Fathers are generally fond of their children. Now can you imagine when you have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as your child? Like how attached you become to him. So this is how the Lord also bestows His mercy upon His devotees. The devotees want to develop their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Supreme Personality develops a relationship, very intimate relationship, like children, like friend, like lover. Like we see that naturally we have attraction for these relationships, these relatives. The father is naturally related, is attracted to his son. Mother is naturally attracted to his son or daughter. Does the mother have to make any endeavor? Does the mother have to chant the name of the son to become attracted to him? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The mother is naturally attracted to the child. Even though the child may be very weak, very ugly, even the child may be deformed, but the mother is naturally attracted to the child. That is a natural phenomenon. Now when the Lord becomes your child, then what happens? Can you imagine what kind of attraction? So this is how the Lord actually allows us to develop our relationship. We try to develop our relationship and He reciprocates by allowing a very intimate relationship. So in this way, King Dasharatha, who naturally must have been a very, very exalted devotee, got Lord Ramchandra as his son. And then came Vishwamitra one day. And Vishwamitra said that these demons, these demons are causing a lot of distress. Marichi and Shubha. These two terrible demons, they were accomplices of Ravana. And so he wanted Ram to come with him to deal with the demon. Now Dasharatha was very upset, actually Dasharatha tried to plead with him. He said that, look, Ram is just a young boy, he doesn't have any experience in fighting any battle. He never went to a battle. Although he has learned the art of using weapons, but he doesn't have any practical experience of fighting a battle. And how is he going to fight with such terrible demons? And this Marichi was actually very close to Ravana, and everybody knew how powerful he was. Marichi and Shiva, both of them were very, very powerful, and that's why Vishwamitra. Actually, the story also goes that Vishwamitra could have killed them. He was such an exalted, such a powerful sage. He was a sage with a Brahma Teja. He had the power of Brahma Teja, power of Brahman. Brahman Like, we'll also come with another incident that relates to that. Vishwamitra previously was actually a sage, a king. So one day he came to Vasishtha's ashram. He was hunting, and while hunting, he became tired and he saw the beautiful ashram of some rishi. So he came there and he saw Vasishtha. And so Vasishtha saw the king has come, and king doesn't travel alone. He had a few thousand people with him. So Vasishtha told him that please take your bath and get fresh and come and we'll have some prasad. You must be very tired. So they went to the river, took bath, and when they came back, they found the arrangement has been made for their prasadam. Like few thousand plates of prasad, beautifully organized, beautifully arranged, served in golden plates with golden bowls and golden cups, golden saucers. And not only that, when Vishwamitra started to eat the prasad, he felt that he never tasted something like this in his whole life. He's a king, so he had the access to the most delicious prasad, but he felt that he never ate like something. So after that, after eating, he asked Vasishtha, in the middle of the forest, how did you make this arrangement? A kind of arrangement that I can't even dream of as a king. So how did you make this arrangement? So Vasishtha said, come, I'll show you. So he took him to a cow, a beautiful celestial cow, the daughter of Surabhi. Came the daughter of the cow in Golok Vrindavan. Her name is Nandini. So he said, see, this cow is actually a Surabhi. So this cow can fulfill any desire. So I didn't make any arrangement. She made all the arrangement. I simply went to her and told her that, look, I have some guests, make some arrangement. And she made all the arrangement. So Vishwamitra said, wonderful. He said, you don't need a cow like this. In the middle of the forest, why do you need a cow like this? You don't have any need. All you need is some ghee to perform sacrifice. So I'll give you few million cows. So you give me this cow. So Vasishtha said, look, she is like my daughter. I can't. You can ask anything else, but this cow I can't give. So then Vishwamitra was very upset. He said that you are a sage, you are a rishi, you are a renunciate. Now why are you so attached to your cow? You are a pretender. So in this way he insulted Vasishtha and he ordered his soldiers to forcibly take the cow. So Surabhi was being dragged by the soldiers. And she was crying and appealing to Vasishtha that in front of your eyes, these people, these rogues are insulting me like this, treating me like this, and you are not doing anything to protect me. So he said, see, I am a Brahmana. I never resort to violence. But if you want, you can defend yourself. Don't wait for me because I won't be able to defend you because that's not my dharma. But if you want, you can defend yourself. So Surabhi then immediately produced an army. And that army fought with Vishwamitra's army. And killed some of them and chased the rest of them. And being upset, Vishwamitra used Brahmastra against Vasishtha. Vasishtha had his danda, he held the danda, and his Brahmastra was neutralized. So at that time, Vishwamitra realized that the Kshatriya Teja is nothing compared to Brahma Teja. So therefore he decided to become a Brahmana, that is a Brahmarshi. And as you all know, like he performed severe austerities for many, many years. And when Indra saw that Vishwamitra is performing such austerity, Indra became alarmed. He thought maybe he is not satisfied with his kingdom on earth. He wants to occupy my kingdom. Because Vishwamitra was a Kshatriya, so he thought, why is he performing such austerity? It must be because of occupying my position. So that's why Indra actually sent Menaka, a very, very beautiful celestial damsel, celestial girl, society girl from heaven. And Menaka actually made Vishwamitra, actually broke his meditation and made him fall down with her. And as a result of that, Shakuntala was So here the point I was making, that this is the Brahma Teja. So Vishwamitra became such a powerful sage that he became extremely powerful with his spiritual potency. So he could have killed Marichi and Subha. But because he has accepted the situation, the post or the position of a Brahmana, he did not want to directly harm anyone. So therefore he came to Dasarath and asked him to give Lord Ramchandra. He said that I want Ram to fight against Marichi and Subhahu. So Dasarath said, look, he doesn't have any experience to fight. He just finished his military training. So I will go with my army. So then Vishwamitra said, look, if I wanted you to come and fight with Marichi and Subhahu, then I would have called you. I wouldn't have asked for Ram. I would have told you to come. I don't want you, I want Ram. So when Dasarath saw that Vishwamitra was so insistent on getting Ram to fight with Marichi and Subhahu, with the fear that now if Ram goes, then Ram will die. Because these demons are so powerful. So Dasarath actually. And then they splashed water on his face and fanned him and brought him back to his senses. And then again he started to plead to Vishwamitra, please don't take, don't ask for this son of mine. But Vishwamitra said, look, I told you, you assured me when I came, you asked me what I wanted, and you assured me that you will fulfill my desire. Whatever I wanted, you will give me. Now you are saying, when I asked you for your son, and you are refusing me, I am very upset with you. I am leaving this place right away. So at that time, Vasishtha actually consoled Dasarath. That is what the spiritual master's business is, to give the right advice, right spiritual advice. So Vasishtha told Dasarath that. He said, look, if Vishwamitra wanted, he could have killed the demons. Vishwamitra is not an ordinary person. He is a very, very exalted sage. He is a Trikaladarshi. He can see time in three perspectives, past, present and future. So since he is asking for Ram, there must be some reason behind. So don't worry. And also you remember that Vishwamitra has celestial weapons. So Vishwamitra, if Ram goes with him, then Vishwamitra will give him those celestial weapons. And Vishwamitra will empower him. So Vasishtha also knew that Ramchandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as much as Vishwamitra knew. He came for Ramchandra because he knew that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who came to kill the demons, especially Ravan and his associates. Although Dasarath couldn't understand that his son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, these personalities recognize that he is the Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, Vasishtha advised Dasarath to give Ram. And as you all know, Ramchandra, what did he do? He went and fought, and on the way, he killed the mother of Marichi and Subha, Taraka Rakshashi. And this also leads to another point, that why Dasarath was so much in anxiety. Because one of Dasarath's ancestors, Anaranya, was killed by Ravana. Dasarath's ancestor was the ruler of the earth. And Ravan came and fought with him, challenged him in a fight. Anurana fought with him, but ultimately he died. So this memory was so vivid in Dasharatha's mind that one of his ancestors has been killed by Ravan. And here is this Ravan's associate, Marichi, who is extremely powerful. So my 16-year-old son is not a match against. That's how he was thinking. He was thinking that his son is his son. He didn't think that his son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's the difference between Dasarath and Kardama Muni. Dasarath didn't know that his son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Kardama Muni knew that his son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kopildev. But instead of staying in his association, he left home and went back. Why did he do that? That question comes up. Why did Kardama Muni, although his son appeared to him although the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared to him as his son, but he left him at home and went to the forest to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? That is because of his special mellow, his specific mellow. His mellow was neutrality. Neutrality means in that mellow, he just wants to think about the Supreme Personality. And that's why Chaitanya Charitamrita says that whatever one's mellow is, he thinks that to be the highest. Like he got his son, the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, and he could develop Vatsalya Ras, parental relationship with the Supreme Personality. But he was not interested in parental relationship because he thinks that the ultimate goal of life is to meditate upon the Supreme Personality, Shantarash. So that's why he went to the forest to meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is his son. So Dasarath was thinking of Ramchandra as his son, just as the father does. And he felt that his son may die. And that's why he was in such deep anxiety that he fainted. 3 times he fainted actually. But Ram, what did he do? Ram went with Lakshman. And when Marichi and Subahu came, he shot an arrow and he made Marichi fly 100 yojanas, that means 800 miles, and made him land in the middle of the ocean. He didn't kill him. So that's how Marichi learned his lesson. So when Ravan went and told him to assist him in kidnapping Sita, Marichi actually told Ravan that please don't do that. He is not an ordinary person. He'll be in trouble. And he told that, look, it's because of him that I became an ascetic. I gave up my demoniac occupation and became an ascetic. Tapasya. I became a tapasya. Ascetic. And he narrated that incident. That how Ram actually, just with one arrow, made him fly for 800 miles and landed in the middle of the ocean. And then he said, but then when I saw him in the middle of the forest as a hermit with his wife, I thought now I'll take revenge. He hit me and now I found him in the middle of the So he attacked Ram. And this time also he was so badly wounded. And he said that from that time, in the forest, whenever I see green, I see him. Because Lord Ramchandra's bodily complexion is greenish. And he was wearing tree bark. Ramchandra's bodily complexion was green and he was wearing the barks of the tree. So in a way he looked like a tree. Or rather, when he saw a tree, he thought of Ram. He said, everywhere I am seeing him. So this is another mercy of Lord Ramchandra. That Marichi, although he came to him as an enemy, he was blessed by him with this good fortune of seeing him everywhere. But at that time, Ravana actually told him that, look, you decide, because if you don't come to my support, I will kill you. So then Marichi thought that if I go to Ram, helping Ravan, and according to his suggestion, then I'll be killed. And if I don't go, I'll also be killed by Ram. I'll either be killed by Ram or I'll be killed by Ravan. So better to be killed by Ram. So he accepted the proposal. Okay, I'll go. And Marichi went as a golden deer. He had the mystic power that he could assume any form. And this is how he actually led Ramchandra away from Sita, and then eventually Ravan kidnaps. So this is how this Ramchandra Vasishta, go back to that point, that as a Kula Guru of the Dasarat or Raghu dynasty, Vasishta had, it's actually Ikshaku dynasty. Originally, this dynasty is coming from Ikshaku. Do you remember who is Ikshaku? Ikshaku is the son of Manu. Evang parampara, imang vivashyate yogam proktavan aham apvayam vivashwan manavipraho manor Ikshaku veya. This Ikshaku, the son of Vivashwan, the son of Vaivashyata Manu, the son of Vivashwan, is actually the origin of this Ikshaku dynasty. And Vasishta was the Kula Guru. Vasishta has many wonderful contributions, and one of the most wonderful one also is that he was the Kula Guru of the Raghu dynasty, and he advised Dasharath in many occasions. When Kaikeyi wanted to send Ramchandra, banish Ramchandra to the forest, Vasishta went and advised her. And finally Vasishta actually told him that, look, for whoever you are trying to do that, you will lose them all. You will lose your husband, who is your biggest shelter and greatest possession. Your husband will die. Your son will disown you. You are doing it for your son, but Bharat will disown you. He won't consider you as your mother, as his mother. So in this way, Vasishta warned Kaikeyi. But Kaikeyi was actually, this is the divine arrangement of Yogamaya. So she was just playing her respective role. So in this way, we see that how it was already predestined that Ramchandra had to go to the forest, because that is the part of his pastime. He decided to do that. And Vasishta is another important aspect of Vasishta, is that he is one of the 7 stars in the super constellation. You know the 7 stars? Saptarshi Mandal, the 7 sages. Those 7 sages are actually these original sons of Lord Brahma. Pulasta, Pulaha, Kratu, Angira, and Atri, Marichi, and Vasishta. These are the Saptarshis, 7 rishis. They have their abode in the planetary system, the heavenly planet. Like the stars. The stars are actually not just twinkle, twinkle little stars. These stars are actually planets. But they're luminaries. You can well imagine they're so far away, but they're still visible. So they must be so big. They're not just little small specks in the sky as they appear. They're actually planetary systems. They're planets. And Vasishta has his own planet there. And what is their business? They rotate. They are just fixed on the polar star. Which is a polar star? Polar star is Dhṛva-loka, abode of Dhruva Maharaj. And what is the abode of Dhruva Maharaj? Abode of Dhruva Maharaj is the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the universe. The Supreme Personality of Godhead awarded that place to Dhruva Maharaj, which is even beyond Brahmaloka, Satyaloka. So, Vasishta, here it's been described that Vasishta had some illustrious sons. These 7 sages that are headed by Chitraketu. The names are Surochi, Viraja, Mitra, Urvana, Vasudridhyana, and Dhuman. So, and so that is from the one of the 9 daughters, and finally is the Citti, who is the wife of sage Atharvā. And she gave birth to a son called Aśvaśirā. Aśvaśirā, and they got the son by performing dadhyañcam. And now, after that, he is going to describe the descendants of Bhṛgu. Bhṛgu, anyway, so it goes on describing the genealogical table of the daughters of Manu. It will eventually come to Daksha, and the youngest daughter, Prasuti, was given to Daksha, and she gave birth to many daughters. And the youngest one of them who was the youngest daughter of Daksha and Prasuti? Sati. Sati was given to Lord Shiva in marriage. And it leads to that, the next chapter, I think, how Daksha cursed Lord Shiva, and then Sati left her body, and Lord Shiva became very, very upset, and he destroyed Daksha's, he plundered Daksha's sacrifice. So this, we can see when we go through this, what a beautiful history it is. And this is our history. And that is why it is so special to be born in this land of India, because we have such a glorious history. Compared to this history, European history, American history, if at all America has a history, becomes totally insignificant. European history, we can see Europe just a few hundred years back, they were just barbarians. They're simply barbarians. They're actually they were known as though their name was barbarian. That's how the word came. It's not that the word barbarian actually came from the population that was there in the middle of Europe, in the region of Germany and others. They're barbarians. Their name was actually barbarian, uncivilized. Some civilization was there. That was the Greek civilization, then Roman civilization. But that was actually the remnants of Vedic civilization. Prabhupada pointed out that Greeks and Romans, they actually went there from India. When Parshuram was annihilating the Kshatriyas, some of the Kshatriyas fled away from India and settled down in those areas. That's how they came. Like one region was Persia, Iran. Iran's history is actually different. Iran's history is that those who were not following the Vedic culture, those who are averse to the Vedic culture, they were driven out of India, the land of Bhṛgu. So they were driven, they were not allowed to stay in India. And those days, what was the Indian territory? We can see, like Afghanistan was a part of India. Today's Kandahar is actually Gandhar province. Gandhari came from that region. And so that was the border of India. So they were driven out of India. That means what is beyond Afghanistan? Persia. And one interesting thing to note here is that, do you know who the earlier Iranians worshipped? Who is their god? Fire, okay. But what's the name of their god? The name of their god is Ahur Mazda. Now see the interesting thing, like these people could not pronounce the word sa. They pronounced sa as ha. That's why they called Sindhu river as Hindu river. That's how the name came. The land of Sindhu, became Hindustan. That was their identification. Now they can't pronounce sa. They pronounce sa as ha. So Ahur means, now pronounce this Asura. Ahur actually is Asur. And Mazda is great. The word Mazda means great in Iranian word. So great Asur is their worshipable god. So from that we can see that how and why they were driven out of India. Okay, if you want to worship the demon, then get out of here. And they settled down in Iran. And that's how the other civilizations developed in those areas. Like another thing you can notice, you see, they were in Middle East. What are the famous civilizations? Assyrian civilization. Now again we can see the link. Asurian civilization. Assyrian civilization means Asuric civilization. Assyria, Babylonia. And anyway, to go back to that European sector, like Prabhupada mentioned, that it was actually the warriors, the Kshatriyas, who ran away from India, and they ran far, far away and settled down in Greece and Rome. And Greek civilization was the beginning of European civilization. That's what they can be looked to. But if you go further up the Europe, then it was a different thing. It was further up, it was the barbarians. Germany was the land of the barbarian. And England was the Saxons. They were all uncivilized people. The Romans went and conquered them, and then some civilization came to them. The Normans and Saxons in England. Normans are the invaders who came and conquered England. Anyway, that is their history, and this is our history. Actually, this is not our history as such. This is the history of the human beings. Human civilization was this. And this is our forefathers. All human beings' forefather, as I mentioned. Manu, where did we come from? Human beings, we all are human beings. How did we come to exist? Who is our forefather? Manu. So all human beings are coming from. So originally all human beings were following this culture, the Vedic culture. But when they drifted away from the Vedic culture, they developed this deviation and they degraded. In today's world, the Vedic culture is practically lost. It's only ISKCON that is establishing the Vedic culture now. Vedic culture is otherwise lost. And now see what's happening. This culture is being accepted by people from all over the world. And in this way, people are realizing this is the human culture. It's not Indian culture as such. It is the culture for the entire human civilization. And when Krishna consciousness movement will spread all over the world, once again, the real Vedic culture will be established all over. So that is the glory of Srila Prabhupada. That's the glorious achievement of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Does anybody have any question? In Sargaloka, not all the cows, actually. In Sargaloka also, there is only one Surabhi. Remember Indra, when he upset Krishna, and Krishna lifted Govardhan hill, then he went to Brihaspati, his guru, and said, look, this is what happened, what should I do? And he said that, Brihaspati said that you made a big mistake. This boy, Krishna, that cowherd boy, is not just a cowherd boy, he is the Supreme Personality of God. You are in trouble. So you do one thing, take Surabhi with you. And by seeing Surabhi, you will be disciplined. So this is one Surabhi. Cows are in Vatsalaras. They are feeding Krishna with their milk. parental, motherly. They look at Krishna as the baby. And calves are mostly in Vatsa, Sakkara, male calves. So there are some questions. There's question from Ankit Vora. Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita that bhakti is the topmost way to serve Krishna and have a transcendental mellow with the Supreme Personality of God. So what could be said about Bhakti Rasa in Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga? Was Bhakti movement still present in that Yuga, or it was not prescribed? Bhakti is always there. You see, Bhakti is always there, and it is through Bhakti that karma becomes karma yoga, jnana becomes jnana yoga. So if you say karma yoga and jnana yoga were the prescribed ways, but actually it means that karma with bhakti is karma yoga. Jnana with bhakti is jnana yoga. So bhakti is always there. But this prema bhakti of Vrindavan was not available. In Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga, those mellows were not prevalent. They were not available. It was mostly bhakti in Shantaraj and bhakti in Dasa. Like for example, we are describing Kardama Muni. Did Kardama Muni have bhakti? Although he was in Satya Yuga, did he have bhakti? Did Devahuti have bhakti? Yes. So bhakti was always present. What was not present those days, or what was not available, is prema bhakti of Vrindavan. Meaning the special relationship that is based on conjugal loving devotion, like Krishna's loving exchange with the gopis, Krishna's loving exchange with his friends, Krishna's loving exchange with his father and mother. So next one is from Guru Gauranga from Florida. You mentioned about Shantaraj. If a living entity sees the Lord in a particular rasa, is it possible by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that they can change their rasa to a higher rasa so that they may serve the servants of Srimati Radharani? What can be said in this regard about Jagai and Mathai? Very nice question. Thank you very much, Guru Gauranga. Very nice question. So the question here is that you mentioned about Shantaraj, the mode of neutrality. But if a living entity sees the Lord in a particular rasa, so there are different types of rasas are there. Santarasya, Dasharasa, mainly these two specific rasas, Santarasya and Dasharasa. Now the question is that is it possible by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that this rasa can be changed to a higher rasa? And the answer is yes. Like somebody may be in Santarasya, somebody may be in Dasyarasa, but originally that may be his original mellow. But if he comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then what will happen? Through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, his rasa will change. And how it will change? By following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when we will achieve our spiritual perfection, we will be elevated to Golok Vrindavan. And in Golok Vrindavan, what is the mellow in Golok Vrindavan? In Golok Vrindavan, although all five mellows are present, but in Golok Vrindavan, three mellows are prominent. What are those three mellows of Vrindavan? Sakharas. Krishna has his friends, the cowherd boy. Vatsalaras. Krishna has his father and mother and the superiors. They are related to Krishna in Vatsalya. And there is conjugal. Krishna is related to the gopis in the mellow of conjugal relationship. Now that is what is happening. You follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you'll get an entry into Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, you will have this predominantly one of these three mellows awarded to you by Sri Krishna and Srimati. So yes, and as you gave the example, Jagai and Madhai. Jagai and Madhai, who are Jagai and Madhai? Jai and Vijay. Where were they situated? Vaikuntha. What are the mellows of Vaikuntha? Santa and Dasya. Right? And they were not even, although they were in Vaikuntha, but they were gatekeepers of Vaikuntha. That means they were outside of Vaikuntha. At the gate of Vaikuntha. Not quite in Vaikuntha. Where is the gatekeeper? Outside the house. So from there, they became a part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, and Jagai and Madhai. Now, Jagai and Madhai, by achieving spiritual perfection, what will happen to them? They already became associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, those who have access to Navadvip in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they also have access to Vrindavan. That is the wonderful thing about Mahaprabhu's pastimes. You have access to both Navadvip and Vrindavan. Whereas if you are in Vrindavan, you may have access to Navadvip or may not. But those who have access to Navadvip, they also have access to Vrindavan. So this is how Joy and Vijay was finally elevated to Braja Leela. You follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when you achieve your perfection, you will have access, or you will be elevated to Golok Vrindavan. Can you explain more about Kardama Muni? Kardama Muni, like Kardama Muni is a son of Brahma, and Kardama Muni was married to Devahuti, the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. So Swayambhuva Manu and his wife Shatarupa, being ordered by Lord Brahma, went to Kardama Muni and offered their daughter to him in marriage. So although Devahuti was a princess, she actually served Kardama Muni so nicely without caring for herself at all. So one day when Kardama Muni saw that his beautiful princess wife was a princess, such a beautiful young girl, she has become completely emaciated, and her hair, which was so beautiful, black hair, long hair, has become matted, and she is wearing tree bark. So he felt very bad that, see, she is undergoing so much difficulties because of me. And therefore, Kardama Muni created one palace, huge palace, with lakes and gardens and thousands of attendants. And that palace was not only a palace, it was a moving palace, flying palace. It could, according to one's will, this planet, so to say, will move all over the universe. So they went for a joyride, traveling through the whole universe. And after that, Kardama Muni got 9 daughters and 1 son from Devavati, his wife. So here is the description of these 9 daughters, just ended with the last one. Her name was Citti, and anyway, Ujjain is the previous one. Citti, and then 1 son, and that son was Kapila. So next question is from Ramananda Rai from Belgium. Guru Maharaj, this is Kali Yuga, when the spiritual master ever becomes threatened and is in danger, can the disciple use violence sometimes? Or should they try to brahmanically act like Vasishtha? Yeah. You see, in all other incarnations, Krishna comes with some weapons. Like as Ramchandra, he came with bow and arrow. As Krishna, he came with a Sudarshan Chakra. And in some other incarnation, he comes with a sword. Like Kalki Avatar, he will come with a sword. As Parashuram, he came with an axe. So in this way, the Lord comes with some weapon to annihilate the evil. But in the age of Kali, he did not bring any weapon. Why? Because in the age of Kali, if you resort to violence, then violence will breed more violence and preaching will stop. Everybody will become so much caught up with the warfare that there won't be any time or inclination to preach. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not bring any weapon. Rather, yes, he brought one weapon, very special weapon. What is that weapon? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is the weapon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought with him, and he also asked us to use that weapon. So whenever you feel that someone is causing you great anger, don't become violent, but just chant Hare Krishna. And ask them also to chant Hare Krishna. So next one is, please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj. Thank you for the wonderful class. Do all the demigods exist when Brahma's day end and when all but the top 3 lokas are not submerged in water? You see, there are different types of annihilation. One annihilation is when the lower planetary system, all the way up to Sargaloka, get annihilated. But Maharloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, Suttaloka remain unaffected. Only the heat reaches Maharloka. Then the residents of Maharloka then leave Maharloka and go to Janaloka. So this is how there are different types of annihilation. Partial annihilation, and then at the end of Brahma's day, then everybody, Brahma falls asleep. Then up to Satyaloka, everything is kind of annihilated. And then comes the final annihilation, when Brahma dies. Then the whole universe is annihilated. And then the total annihilation, when the Lord withdraws his glance from Maya. Then the whole material, all the universes dissolve. So that is the final annihilation. when the Lord withdraws his glance from Maya. But then when he again casts his glance to Maya, everything comes back. This is from Jayesh Das, Kolkata. There is a tinge of parental mellow in Ayodhya. But here we see how Dasarath was attached to Lord Ram and couldn't leave a moment without seeing him. Even this kind of parental love is not called true parental love. Yeah, it is parental love. It is parental love. But the thing is that this parental love become effective when they realize that Ramchandra is, that their son is God. Like Vasudeva and Devaki. Their heart was filled with parental love when they saw this little child. Oh, my son, my son. That was the feeling. But when they saw him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what happened? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. They started to offer their prayers to him. Then what happened to parental love? So this is how the Aishwarya, the understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the Supreme Personality of Godhead affects their parental relationship. Okay, any other question? I think I have, yeah, I have answered all the questions. That's nice. Quite a few questions from the internet. How many participated? Huh? Yes. What happened? I couldn't get your question. साधु के साथ साधु का जैसा व्यवहार हो, समझा? हाँ, ऑफेंस करते हैं तो दूर से प्रणाम करके चले जाए, नजदीक मत जाना, क्योंकि श्रद्धा वैष्णव जो है, वैष्णव अमानी मानदा. He offers respect to others and doesn't desire any respect from others. Right? He is more humble than a blade of grass. Was Kardama Muni not on the platform of pure devotional service? Yes, sure he was in the platform of pure devotional service. Otherwise, how can he get the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, if he is not a pure devotee? But the point is that his devotion was in neutrality, in Santarash, where he was actually meditating upon the Lord. The active service was not there. In Shantarash he was related to the Lord. Maybe, but who gave the name? If we consider, the name was coming from Australia from before, or the British went and called it Australia. I don't know, I'm just wondering. I don't know. I mean, obviously the Britishers gave the name. Now, was the name there already before? I don't know. Some people also say Moscow is actually Moksha Dev. Oh, that is alright. That's understandable. Singapura, the city of life. Singapore is there. Then similarly, those areas, the names, see, Singapore retained its name, Singapore. But the other, like Bali also is there. Bali, Sumatra, and Java, I don't know whether, maybe Java. Yeah, like those names are Vedic names. Like Malaysia is Malay Desh, famous for sandalwood, Malay Chandra. Malay. So, you see, the abode of Lord, say Jamaraj, Jamalaya, is in the southern part of the universe. But on the earth planet also we find its semblance. The southern part, if you go south, that has the effect of that abode of Lord Jamaraj. Similarly, you go to north, it has the effect of the abode of Kubera. Like yeah, they are not ordinary monkeys. Who are those monkeys, you know? Those monkeys are the demigods, taken birth as monkeys, practice Lord Ram. This is not obviously speaking about different planets. It's talking about the Earth planet only. Because ultimately it comes to crossing jumping across the ocean and going to So another question, Aśvaśirā, if somebody gets some special mercy of the Lord, does that mean that he is the pure devotee of the Lord? Well, when one gets absolute mercy of the Lord, then he becomes a pure. But when one is a partial devotee, he receives the partial mercy. So some handwritten question now. That also in Bengali. একজন গৃহিণী মাতাজি কিভাবে অনুকূল অবস্থা থেকে প্রতিকূল অবস্থায় উন্নতি করতে পারে? আচ্ছা, অনন্যা গতি করে। The question is, how can a householder lady devotee get into a favorable situation overcoming the unfavorable? সবকিছুরই উত্তর একটাই, আমি বাংলায় বলবো না ইংরেজিতে বলবো? ঠিক আছে, ফার্স্টে বাংলায় বলে তারপরে you see, it is only with bhaktir madhyamei kebol, maybe let me first say it in English since the class, that it's only through bhakti, devotion, that we can overcome the unfavorable situation and come to a favorable situation. Unfavorable situation means impediments to our devotion. Now, how that unfavorable situation can be overcome? By devotional service to the Lord and depending upon the mercy. So, অনুকূল প্রতিকূল অবস্থা অতিক্রম করে অনুকূল অবস্থায় আসার উপায় হচ্ছে ভক্তি। প্রতিকূলতাটা কিসের? প্রতিকূলতাটা হচ্ছে ভক্তির প্রতিকূলতা। এন্ড ভক্তির দ্বারাই ভক্তির প্রতিকূলতা দূর হবে। আর যতক্ষণ পর্যন্ত না দূর হচ্ছে ততক্ষণ ভগবানের কাছে প্রার্থনা করতে থাকে, নৃসিংহদেবের কাছে প্রার্থনা। নৃসিংহদেব হচ্ছে ভক্তি বিঘ্ন বিনাশ। নৃসিংহদেবের কাছে প্রার্থনা করো, নৃসিংহদেব তোমার সমস্ত অনুকূল অবস্থা সৃষ্টি। So finally I said that just pray to Lord Nrsimhadev, because Nrsimhadev removes all the impediments from the path of devotion. Okay, I will stop now. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande.